Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Jessica Lopez, Third Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
Ann Schurston, Sixth Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. Welcome, everybody. We have two public hearings tonight. First public hearing will be on amend the town code for intersection of Brentwood and Pleasant Ridge. And public hearing number 2 will be a parking agreement for 819 Main Street. And after that, we have agenda items, accept the resignation, substitute court attendant Jay Kozak. Number 4, authorize the supervisor to sign an amendment to the intermunicipal agreement for Poughkeepsie Water Treatment Plant. 5, authorize the supervisor to sign a temporary sidewalk agreement for Fox Run. 6, authorize the supervisor to sign a bonding security agreement for Knapp's Corner. 7, authorize the supervisor to sign streetlight authority agreement for Stratford Farms. 8, appoint planning board alternate Ahmad Dodd Katnani. 9, authorize a waiving of a water sewer charge for 5 Pineberry Court. 10, authorize a surplus sale auction. 11, retain McGrath and Company for appraisal services. 12, notification of claims be referred to legal. Miller versus the town, tax cert matters listed in the clerk's office, and the DOT versus the town. 13, appoint Vanderwater and Vanderwater tax certiorari matters. 14, appoint Capelina, Rothschild, and Egan tax certiorari matters. 15, approve elected form and general release for 2020 voluntary separation incentive program. 16, accept certificate of attendance from Tony DeQuani, Christine Soroselli for land use for zoning board, and Christine Soroselli, Duchess Planning Federation. And there's 3 special consents on the list. Appoint a William Slate as Justice Court Supervisor. 2, accept Manchester Gardens water bill payment. 3, authorize the supervisor to apply for Justice Court Assistance Program grant. With that, I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Is there anybody here to discuss public hearing number 1? Anybody, Felicia?
If you want to speak to the public hearing on the stop signs, now's your chance.
Either star 9 and raise your
I
hand.
would like to. I'm on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Just state your name, please.
Oh, hi. My name's Kathleen. I've lived on Pleasant Ridge since my parents purchased this home in 1970. And I just wanted to say that this is a wonderful neighborhood, and I remember when the Brentwood signs went up, and it felt like a quiet, exclusive neighborhood, which is wonderful in these days and age. But lately I've had some big issues. I've been talking to some wonderful police officers, and they've asked me to just check on what I've seen, and unfortunately I've never received any license plate numbers, but I have stopped on the street. I've been followed very closely by 3 different cars in the past 6 months or so, and one woman said to me that she was really sorry she'd never come across the street again because she was late for work and it's the perfect crossover. So it happened to me again recently, and I know that a lot of neighbors have complained about the noise, and with the pandemic, it's been really sad because so many people are walking, and I just fear for children's lives. In my day, we used to sit across the street from each other and throw rocks, and our parents never gave it another thought. The cars were not screeching through here. We have landscapers pulling what they need to pull, and school buses from Spack and Kill that aren't even in this district, and lots of cars that come up to the Pleasant Ridge and the Brentwood Hill, and they don't live here, and they're just all doing it for the same reason, because the light's a little longer on Vassar Road. So I was thrilled when Amanda let our neighborhood know that we had a chance to say something, because I fear for the new generations of children. I know there's lots of new children on our block, and it's wonderful to hear them and see them, and there's families going by right now as I sit here, and think that they deserve a chance to be able to walk down the street and not care that somebody that lives down the hill has brought his quad up and is going back and forth. And anyway, I'm not very eloquent. I'm sorry, I'm not. I apologize for that. But I remember when the street down by Spring Road off of Vassar Road was a cut through. I'm one of those people that used to cut through. It was quicker, it was easier. I never sped, but now it's, I guess it's a county road. I don't know, you'd have to tell me. And Vassar is a county road, and now you can't turn there anymore. And I think it's wonderful if we put in a stop sign. I think it would be wonderful if we put in 30 mile an hour signs at the bottom of each hill, not up on our wonderful block, but down at the bottom, so people remember that they're crossing through on the 30 mile an hour strip. It's a great, great neighborhood. It's beautiful. It's been revived by new families that have bought these homes that started up in 1965. And I think we deserve a chance not to be a drag strip. Thanks very much.
No, thank you very much. Is there anybody else? And I ask you to please try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
I'll
hi,
speak.
this-
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, this is Arthur, 22 Pleasant Ridge Drive. I've been here for 14 years, and I just want to concur with the previous speaker. We see people using it as a shortcut, and they go very quickly. So I would love to see a stop sign at the Brentwood Road up on the hill. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input.
Good evening, Town Board. I'll go next. I'm going to read from a letter that I have. It'll be less than 3 minutes. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you, Mr. Carlos, for working with me to get to this point. My name is Amanda Staccato. I moved in with my husband 4 years ago at 26 Pleasant Ridge Drive. Our son, who is now 3, I can't believe it, was born shortly after. We truly love this neighborhood. I've met such wonderful neighbors, families while enjoying the time outside. But I have to tell you, what prompted me to start this was a reckless driver. I literally had to jump into the grass, and it scared me. It scared me to the point of, writing this letter and getting the neighborhood support. Today we are in support of the stop signs on Pleasant Ridge and Brentwood, making it a true 3-way stop sign. I'm also in favor of signs that say slow, speed limit signs, as Catherine said. We received over 60 signatures for this petition, so I appreciate all my neighbors. I can't thank you enough. And just one last thing, because I'm an engineer, the only things that make sense to me are math. And I'm going to, so Pine Tree Drive at the bottom of our hill is about 0.4 miles long. They have 2 stop signs. I won't count the 2 that are on the other ends of the street, but there are 2 stop signs along that way. So if you're using this, that logic is a stop sign every 0.2 miles. Pleasant Ridge is a mile long. So when you have a mile long, it's a straightaway, right? And the same logic, you'd say 5 stop signs, but that's probably too many. But we really could use more than 1 set. Really, we have 2 intersections at the straightaway on Cora and Brentwood. And I really think signs just bring awareness. You have a lot of children playing. The neighborhood has welcomed a lot of new families, and I love it. But I just want to be safe. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Hello, this is Marissa Kaczynski,
Go ahead.
and I live at 3 Fair Oaks Drive in the neighborhood that Amanda has described. And I wanted to speak in support of the stop sign. I have 3 children, and we enjoy tremendously. We waited to buy our house till this neighborhood was available. And we liked it because it wasn't as busy of a road. We used to live on Cedar Avenue. And so we picked this neighborhood, and Pleasant Ridge reminds me of Cedar Avenue. And while I don't live on that street, we bike and we walk. My children are under ages 7, 5, and 2, and we enjoy walking and biking. And there are no sidewalks, so there's no opportunity to not be on the road. And that was the point that I wanted to bring to the table, that this neighborhood does not have sidewalks. So you can't go for a walk safely if you're not. You have to be in the road. So I just wanted to share my support for this in the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I just wanted to say that I did receive 2 letters that I will put into the record. One is from a Cindy Enlard, and one is from a Celia Siglo. I think that's how you say her name. And I did forward it to all
And
of
I have a
them.
copy of the petitions. It's over 50 signatures, and I'll leave them with you for the
Okay,
record.
that sounds great.
Hi, my name is Tim Farron. I'd like to speak if I could.
Sure.
Go
What's
ahead.
your name? I'm sorry.
My name is Tim Farron. I live at 27 Pleasant Ridge Drive.
So go ahead.
Could you
I'd
speak
just
up
like
a
to
little or
thank,
move closer? I
Mr.
can't hear you
Carlos,
very well.
Supervisor Bailey, can you hear me?
That's better.
No, a little better. If you can get closer to the mic, that helps here.
Absolutely, I'll get closer. I just want to thank everyone for all of this, if you can hear me, and just really reiterate the point that Brentwood and Pleasant Ridge Drive is a line of sight issue. I am a school administrator in Wappingers, and I work with the bus community very closely. And speaking with my daughter's bus driver, the bus driver, and I know this is anecdotal, but my bus driver has a problem at that intersection, and the bus is 6 feet higher than a normal person in a car. So this is an issue. There are other issues with Pleasant Ridge. It is a thoroughfare between 2 very busy roads, and as they say, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. This is one step to making this neighborhood more safe, but not the final step. And I want to thank Amanda and all the neighborhood people and everyone on the council for their support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, make a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff?
Being enacted that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to a duly noticed public hearing held on the 23rd day of September 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend Town Code Chapter 195 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically 195-44, Schedule 9, stop intersections, with the language to be added, underlined, and the language to be deleted, stricken, as follows. Stop sign on Pleasant Ridge Road North, travel at intersection Brentwood Drive. Stop sign on Pleasant Ridge Road, direction of travel south at intersection Brentwood Drive. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on September 9th, 2020, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on September 11th, 2020. And be it further enacted that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does determine this action to be a type 2 action requiring no environmental review, and be it further enacted that said local law shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Brings us to public hearing number 2, 819 Main Street, a parking agreement with Hafia Holding for 819 Main. I can make a motion to open public hearing number 2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Is there anybody here to discuss public hearing number 2, 819 Main Street, Hafia Holdings? No?
Anybody?
Nobody? Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Bill?
The Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board.
Excuse me.
At-
Can I ask a question while you're reading?
Yeah.
With the, I didn't get to get Jim there, but can they, even though they're parking on the street up top, they follow our snow ordinance rule, right?
We've included in the agreement that they are required to remove snow and ice. Do you think that there should be a separate, pardon me, requirement for that? And the reason I ask is because the spaces that were added up on top were added in order to assure that there was a sufficient number of parking spaces. So I don't know whether the plan, if you will, works if they can't park on some of the spaces that are up there. But if you want, because you have to sign this, this doesn't go ahead without you.
As long as they're plowed. I knew there was something in the agreement when we had done it about a year ago. So as long as they have that, where they're gonna plow and take care of it. That's not a problem.
They have to do snow and ice removal.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No.
The Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board, having by resolution adopted on September 2nd, 2020, set September 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Hall, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as the date, time, and place of a public hearing to consider the execution of a parking improvement and maintenance agreement and license pursuant to Town Law Section 64, subsection 7, with Haifa Holdings, LLC, to allow and require Haifa to construct, repair, maintain, and replace certain improvements, including 3 parking spaces, which will be available for public use at 819 Main Street rear, within the town's Woodcliff Avenue right-of-way. And whereas Haifa project, which has presented and approved by the planning board, included the proposed improvements in the Woodcliff Avenue right-of-way, was the subject of a complete SEQA review and received a negative declaration and was determined to be a matter of local concern by Dutchess County Department of Planning and Community Development. And whereas said public hearing, having been duly advertised and conducted this September 23rd, 2020, at the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Hall, now therefore be it resolved that after due deliberation by the town board, authorizes the town supervisor to execute the annexed agreement in substantially the form presented, together with such other documents as may be required, subject to the consent of the Highway Superintendent, Mark Pfeiffer. So moved.
Second.
We get a motion and a second. Any questions from the board on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our public hearings. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 If there's anybody out there in the audience and they would like to discuss any item that's on the agenda for tonight, this is your turn to speak. You have anybody waving?
Nobody's raising their hand, but if there's somebody that's maybe muted and you'd like to speak now, you can unmute yourself. Is there anybody that
Star.
wants to talk about any agenda items?
Star 9, you can to raise your hand, or star 6 to unmute.
Karen just unmuted.
Karen, did you want to speak about anything on the meeting tonight?
No, I'm just here for the Manchester Gardens water issue.
Oh, this is your turn to speak on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, it's your turn to speak on that.
Okay. We have always paid our bills on time, and with COVID, if you notice, our bills in March were due on March 16th. We mailed them on March 2nd. They were received on time. June, my office staff was 1 person a week, sometimes 2 people a week. The woman who was doing our utilities was only 1 day a week. And the check was mailed out 1 day late on June 16th. They were due June 15th. We did pay the $2,105.50 late fee. We have many tenants who don't pay their rent right now. We're not evicting, we're not charging late fees. And I'm just asking as a courtesy to rebate that amount, because the next quarter that was due on September 14th, we actually drove up to Poughkeepsie and paid it on September 8th. So we paid it 6 days early. We try to get our bills there earlier than the due date, so I'm just asking for consideration to have that money refunded.
Karen, did you say it was mailed out after the due date?
It was mailed out, unfortunately, on June 16th. It was due June 15th, but that's because I had the girl working 1 day a week.
Yeah, unfortunately, the letter from your attorney said it was mailed out of the office on June 12th. And we were blaming this on the slowing in the mail, causing it, that actually you had mailed it before. But yeah, we've actually seen the envelope it came in, you're correct. It's postmarked that it was mailed out on the 16th, so that's after the deadline. So your attorney gave us some incorrect information here, saying it was mailed out before the due date.
Right. Okay, but I'm telling you, it was postmarked the 16th, and I'm just asking for courtesy. You know, we've been a landlord there for many, many years, and we've never been late, ever. And I'm working for the company 42 years, 43 years. I've never been late with my payments. And I'm just asking for consideration, a one-time consideration.
Okay, well, the board can think about it when it's one of our special consent items at the end. Anybody else?
Am I allowed to ask a question to Karen?
Go right ahead.
Or should I wait?
No,
Okay.
go ahead, Jessica.
Karen, my question to you is, I know that the landlords have to pay the water bills directly. We can, you know, the tenants cannot be paying their water bills. So when were your tenants charged for this?
We don't
for the
charge we don't charge the tenants water.
So it's included in their, in their rent?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to discuss any items on the agenda? If not, motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jessica?
Scrolling, hold on. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does accept with regret the resignation of Jay Kosak, substitute court attendant with the town of Poughkeepsie Justice Court, effective September 25th, 2020. So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie and the city of Poughkeepsie jointly operate the Poughkeepsie's water treatment project pursuant to an intermunicipal agreement dated August 3rd, 1995, and therefore must be jointly authorize any agreements that come before the joint water board. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute the annexed third amendment to the intermunicipal agreement concerning the Poughkeepsie's water treatment facility and substantially to form annex. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one?
Yes, from my fellow board members. This is to correct two errors in the original agreement that are now in conflict with the accounting procedures and what we're required to do with the controller's office. We're moving the date of the reconciliation, which was supposed to be done in March, and now it'll be done by June 1st. The second one is the same thing, only this was the budget preparation. We're moving it from July to September, so that it's in here to us for our consideration for the budget. They're housekeeping rules, and I would recommend that we approve them.
Bill, I agree with what you said. The reason that we were moving the first one about the reconciliation is a lot of the bills aren't coming in from the vendors till the end of January and into February, so with everybody closing out their books for the year, makes it too tight of a process to get it done. So I think this is beneficial to everybody instead of constantly being late, so we can all abide by the rules. This is going to make it a lot easier for everybody.
Especially the accountant and controller.
Yes. This and the reconciliation is not an easy project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign a temporary sidewalk, street construction license agreement and any supporting recording documents in regards to Fox Run at Fulton Project in substantially the form attached, and be further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie is subject to approval of all final documents by the attorney to the town, planning board of attorney, town engineer, and director of municipal development for the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie, consistent with the recommendation of the Director of Development, authorizes a supervisor or is designated to execute a bonding security agreement in substantially the form annexed and to execute any related documents for the completion of the plantings and landscaping known on the planting plan for Central Hudson's project known as Knapp's Corner Substation Project, in form and substance acceptable to the town supervisor, town engineer, Director of Development, and the attorney for the town. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one?
I have a couple of comments on this. This Knapp's Corner Substation is at Spring Road and Kerr Road. And if you drive by there, you'll see the old substation there with those pine trees. And the landscaping you can see from either side or in front of it, paying it a compliment, calling it atrocious. Central Hudson has the zoning for their new building, their new substation, and they've got granted by our planning board the ability to build it there. Our planning board was concerned with, and so was our planning department, it actually started in our planning department, with the screening for the substation, particularly with those houses that are neighbors, have border lines in common with Central Hudson. And I went through this very carefully, because I represent these people, and I think it's as best we can do for them at this point. The only thing, instead of doing it for 3 years, I'd like to do it for 30 years, but I'm told that we can't do something like that. And I think I would ask the other members of the board to support this to help protect the people whose houses are right there.
And Bill, I agree with you because most of the planning agreement's usually for a year. So the fact that you pushed and you got 3 years, I think is a great step forward.
And if I find out, or I see, at 2 years and 11 months and 20 days that it's not right, you'll hear about that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation Street Lighting Authority orders for the installation of LED street lights on Stratford Drive, Thames Drive, Kensington Lane, Bard Court, and Dartmouth Drive. A copy of said orders are attached. So moved.
Second.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Resolution number 8, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Ahmad Daoud Katnadi to the current vacant position on the Town Planning Board as an alternate, which appointment will expire on December 31st, 2021. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? I think everybody's had a chance to interview him, look at his resume, and the planning department, and the head of the planning board, Carl, has interviewed him also, and everybody was in favor of him. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved that following an irrigation system water leak at property owned by Roberto Gutierrez at 5 Pineberry Court, Poughkeepsie, New York, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie, after considering that there was no sewer usage, waives the related sewer charge of $835 by credit to Mr. Gutierrez's account. So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? I just want to explain this one. He had a leak in his irrigation system, and our town water department was actually the one that went out because they thought he had a leak in the pipe, and they found the actual leak. So he's getting a credit on part of his sewer usage. There is still a part of his sewer usage that he used for inside of his house. That is still on his bill. This is just tied to his water, and that just shows you how high his water bill was. You know,
Yeah.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie has received a communication from Auto Center Manager Brian Porter to dispose of surplus equipment by participating in a website auction, and does hereby ratify the Auto Center Manager's execution of an online auction contract by all, provided that a complete record of equipment and the results of the auction be maintained, and be further resolved that this is a type 2 action requiring no secret review. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be it resolved that further to Resolution 715 SC1 of 2020, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized the supervisor to retain McGrath and Company to provide appraisal services relating to real property located in the Town of Poughkeepsie at a cost not to exceed $13,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Number 12 is just a notification to Town Clerk Salvatore, the following claims have been referred to legal. Miller vs. Town, tax certiorari matters listed in the clerk's office, and New York State DOT property claim. And then we have next one, 13. Be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby assign the following tax certiorari proceeding recently filed to Kyle W. Barnett, Esquire of Vandewater and Vandewater LLP, to represent the town at the hourly rate of $185. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Resolution number 14. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby assign the following tax certiorari proceedings recently filed to Shane Egan, Esquire, of Capolino and Rothschild LLP, to represent the town at an hourly rate of $175. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adopt in substantially the form annexed the 2020 Town of Poughkeepsie Voluntary Separation Incentive Program as described in the annexed election form and general release. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
16A, be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the certificate of attendance for Christine Sorcelli and Tony Diaquani for a 2-hour educational session on land use presented by the Land Use Law Center, copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Thanks for taking their classes. All those in favor?
Aye.
16B, be it further resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the certificate of attendance for Christine Sorcelli for a 2-hour webinar entitled Skills That Make Great Board Members, presented by the New York State Department of State, copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
Any question on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0 for A and B.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. 1, appoint William Slate III as Justice Court Supervisor. 2, accepts Manchester Gardens water bill payment. 3, authorize supervisor to apply for the Justice Court Assistance Program grant. Be further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the Town Board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. SC1, be resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby appoint William Slate III to the permanent part-time position of Town of Poughkeepsie Justice Court Supervisor, $30 an hour for not more than 20 hours per week, effective immediately. Mr. Slate's duties include supervising, coordinating the scheduling of court attendance, and recommending qualified individuals for the town to hire as court attendants, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 or more than 26 weeks per civil service law. Be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion passes 5-1. Abstention.
Whereas Manchester Garden Apartment Complex at 46 Manchester Road reports that it mailed a timely payment for its September 14, 2020 water bill in the ordinary course of its prior business practice, but due to COVID-19 crisis, the payment was received late at the town. Now therefore be resolved that the town accepts Manchester tendered payment of the September 14, 2020 water bill without penalties or late fee.
So moved.
I'm not making up.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll
I didn't make
second.
the motion.
Jeff's got the motion, we got a second?
I'll make a second.
Okay. All
Yeah,
those-
because we should discuss this.
All those in favor?
No, aren't we going to discuss it
Yeah.
a little bit first? Yeah. Because when I was told this initially, I was told that they did mail it out before the due date and that it was received the day after the due date. And the late fee is substantial. It's $2,105. And I did feel very sorry for Manchester Gardens. They do an important service for us. They do have affordable housing in this area, which is really, really needed. And of course, they're suffering through COVID-19 too, and they have certain people not paying for their apartments, and they can't evict them because there's a moratorium on that. But now it appears this information was incorrect and that they mailed it out a day late. And, you know, I'm just sorry. That's a huge mistake to make, and I'm very sorry the late fee is so large, but I don't think we can approve this.
No, and Ann, along the line of what you're saying, yeah, I agree, it's just the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people were affected during this, and we have to treat everybody equally. There's single homeowners that were a few dollars behind, and businesses are behind, and they've all had to do this. This is also an item that's budgeted yearly. On top of that, we understand everybody's crisis, we understand where everybody's coming from, but the fact, if they called and they couldn't pay, it would be one thing, but the fact that they're just trying to get payment waived as a late fee, I think we'd have to treat everybody equally, and there's a lot of other ones out there.
And I feel very badly for them because this is the first time. They've been very good customers. This is their first late fee.
I agree.
And I understand it's just a terrible situation, but they mailed it late, and I'm just so sorry. Because if it had been, because we're all suffering through. I mean, I got banged with a late fee on my credit card because I mailed it out on the 1st of the month. It always got there before the 6th, and now it doesn't. Now I have to mail it 10 days in advance. So the slowing down of the mail is a fact. It's hurting all of us. But sadly, this is not the situation here.
Anybody got any
Yes,
other?
I also had, like I said, a couple that also contacted me regarding the same issue. And I also spoke to the supervisor about it. And like I said, I feel we can't single out, unfortunately, one person. We'd have to basically waive this for everybody in the town. That would be just too much to do.
I'll add to that, I also have had constituents reach out, but for this one in particular, when I read the letter from the attorney that was submitted that Ann sent around asking for support, I felt that if the payment was mailed on the 12th, that gave it enough time and we should consider waiving this, and I was in favor also, but I took a look at the envelopes in Town Hall and saw that they were postmarked on the 16th, and it just makes it really tough because we would have to consider waiving late fees for anyone who mailed in late payments, and so I also feel badly, and I was hopeful to be able to support this, but with it being mailed in late, it does make it hard.
Can I say something?
No, go ahead.
So it doesn't matter, the next payment, you got 6 days early. So what you're telling me is that I should have Boris Yam, my manager, come up to you on October 9th to pay the taxes, when you guys can use the taxes that I just got that are due October 9th. So I shouldn't pay it early because there's no,
One mistake doesn't, warrant the other one.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
this is over 42 years of me working there, and this is my first time ever being late. And it's a massive complex, and I just feel that a one-time abatement would be, in favor of a large landlord. I mean, I have Manchester, I have Canterbury Gardens, and like I said, this is my first time ever having a payment late.
Thank you.
And really bad that you can't consider the abatement.
Ready for a vote?
Yes.
All those in favor? All those opposed?
Nay.
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 Motion fails 6-0.
Whereas New York State is making funds available to assist local justice courts in purchasing goods and services, now therefore be it resolved, the supervisor is authorized to apply for Justice Court Assistance Program grant funds to the maximum extent available to assist the town police justice court. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? Thing is, they apply for different items every year. This year, one of the items they're looking for is a new server. They've helped us with computers and different things. They're working with the Justice Court now to see what we can actually apply for, so that's why there's not an actual physical item on here. We just want to approve it so they can go forward and try to get the max of what they can get out every year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item at all.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Does anybody like to discuss any item at all?
I have this. If there's any citizen who wants to speak, let them go first.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm on the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, which is a committee of the town board looking for the next 10 years as to where we want our town to go. Questions like open space, redevelopment, low-income housing, those are the questions that this committee is dealing with. And we're going to have 3 live functions where we're reaching out to the people in the town and asking them to give us their opinion, their information, and have their say. The next one will be next Wednesday, September 30th at 7 p.m. It's a webinar on Zoom. I'm not going to read this because I don't think I could write it down in order. It's on our webpage. You should be able to go to the webpage, click on this, and participate in the Zoom meeting.
And Bill, it's also on this channel when this meeting's over with. It's been placed on this channel.
It'll be on this channel. So the pitch that I'm asking everybody here, what I think is the most important part of this is we are living in a community now that people 10 years ago, I think it was more than that, 12, 13 years ago, had their say as to which direction they want the town to go in. This is a chance for everybody here now to have their say which direction they want to see their town go. You live here, you pay the taxes here, take the time to tell us what you want to see. Thank you.
And all along the line, as Councilman Carlos said, if you have any questions and nobody understands the whole process of the comprehensive plan, Councilman Carlos, Councilman Renahan, and Councilwoman Shershin are on that committee. So if you want to reach out to any of those or any other board members, but those 3 have been on that committee since the beginning and they're very active, so they may be able to answer any questions, or you can feel free to call this office. But we've had a very active group on there, so participation would be greatly appreciated. Just either watch, listen, send your opinions in, or partake. It's all up to you how you want to do it and how you want to shape your town.
And I also have 2 upcoming events. This Saturday is Peach Hill's Work Day, and that's going to be at 1 p.m. at Peach Hill. So that's a
Bring any
Saturday.
tools with you, Ian? Should they bring any tools? What do you need up there?
They did not say that.
What
They
have
have
you had in
tools.
the past?
They have in the past?
Shovels, maybe, rake?
I think they have tools. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have tools too. And then second, we're going to have a trunk or treat for Halloween this year instead of the usual Halloween parade we have. So it's going to be at Greenville Park. It's October 24th from 3 to 5. You need to register ahead of time, so go to the Rec Committee's website. There's a phone number to call to register. We already have people registering.
Yeah, the more creative you get with your car, the nicer the event's going to be. I mean, some of these trunk or treats have turned out to be phenomenal. People putting a lot of time and effort into them, like a parade. It can be a really nice day out, a really nice event, something different this year. And thank the Recreation Department for putting that together.
And I think, Mark, you have a transfer station this Saturday? And what are the hours again?
7 to 12.
Okay, 7 to 12, highway transfer station.
And it's the last one of the season.
Last one of the season. No electronics.
Does anybody have anything else? No? Make a motion to adjourn?
Motion, second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Everybody have a great night.